Welcome everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order.
Allegiance to the of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we do a roll call, please?
Laughter.
Here.
Nearcheck.
Here.
Conklin.
Here.
Needhammer.
Here.
Storm present.
I would entertain a motion to excuse Commissioner Moody, who's out of town for a few days.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Moving on, we have a couple of special presentations today. One involving Red Mesa and one involving Honeywell. So, Sarah, are you here representing with Josh? Is it Josh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you mind coming up? Absolutely. We'll be over to Boyne.
Thank you.
Sure. The City of Boyne City Certificate of Recognition and Congratulations to Red Mesa Grill on its 25th anniversary, September 16th, 1997 to September 16th, 2022. 25 years ago, the Red Mesa Grill brought a whole new type of dining experience and energy to downtown Boyne City that continues to bring people from near and far for good food and fun. Red Mesa Grill remains as one of Boyne City's landmark eating and drinking establishment and is the premier restaurant of the Magnum Hospitality Corporation. Your contributions and dedication to a vibrant Boyne City does not go unnoticed and plays a major role in the vitality of our downtown and whole community. Happy anniversary and best wishes to you and the entire Red Mesa Grill. May this successful journey continue for another 25 years and beyond. Presented this 27th day of September, signed by myself, Jessica Pearl, our city treasurer, and Michael Keener, city manager. So thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
I wish we could have another personal comment here. I remember I moved here in 1994, 3 years later, the Red Mesa Grill opened. And I think it's had the most influence on really bringing vibrancy to our downtown, and I've watched the whole thing and really appreciate what it's done.
No, absolutely. And we enjoy being a part of the community. So
Okay,
thank you.
We have Honeywell is celebrating the 75th anniversary. 70th, excuse me. I already made a mistake. It's all right. So I was hoping Commissioner Moody would be able to be here. His father was in the early days of Honeywell, and he would really appreciate this opportunity. This certificate of recognition and congratulations to Honeywell Safety and Productivity Solutions, Sensing and Safety Technologies on its 70th anniversary. The City of Boyne City would like to recognize Honeywell International, located at 375 North Lake Street, for 70 years of business in Boyne City. What started in 1952 as a vacuum tube amplifier producer has progressed into a thriving advanced sensing technologies producer that is benefiting the entire Boyne area community and everywhere Honeywell's products are used around the world. On behalf of the City of Boyne City and its citizens, we congratulate and join you in the celebration of the 70-year anniversary of Honeywell Safety and Productivity Solutions, Sensing and Safety Technologies. We look forward to celebrating many more anniversaries and years of success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Greg Garthy. I'm site leader at Honeywell, and I got a couple veterans here with me. I brought along with me, so especially Jason. Yeah, real quick. How long have you been at Honeywell?
I've been with Honeywell going on 14 years with this. 15 for me.
Who are you?
John Dittmar.
Okay.
There's a couple few timelines.
And
Daniel O'Brien, 23.
right there. So part of the community, so we're excited about that. I've been here for 2 years. I've been here. I started on day one of COVID, so it felt really good. Fun first few weeks there.
I still think you might have brought it with you.
But yeah, we're excited about being part of the community. It's one of the main focuses I personally have for growth in the community. We're trying to build it back up, after COVID, pandemic. Let's see, it's the aircraft industry, what we mostly do. And then of course, Boeing's our #1 customer, and the 737 had some issues back in 2019, but now we're back flying again. Boeing's doing really good. They're doing great. And so, hiring people back and very excited. So yeah, very long history going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wish to keep our meeting already. So, moving on, we have the consent agenda. The purpose of the consent agenda is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or the public may ask that any items in the consent agenda be removed and placed as the last item under new business to receive full discussion. Such request will be automatically accepted. So we have item A, approve the August 23rd, 2022 regular meeting minutes as presented. Approve the September 13th, 2022 regular meeting minutes as presented. Approve the Women's Resource Center proclamation in observance of the domestic abuse awareness for the month of October 2022, and approve the Michigan Library Appreciation Resolution for the month of October 2022. Is there anyone in the audience that has a question or comment on this?
The only question I have is Monica this year. Are you here to represent? Would you like a moment to speak on that topic or anything before we go ahead and do it?
Sure. So I'm here. I'm the director of the Boyne District Library. My name is Monica Peck, and I just really appreciate the commission being willing to approve and adopt this resolution. Public libraries are a huge resource in our community. We see several, thousands of people throughout the year. So it's nice to know that you all appreciate us and are willing to set aside October as a way, to make it official. So thank you very much.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second? The roll call, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, great. Moving on, we have citizen comments on non-agenda items. So this would give folks in the audience the opportunity to address the city commission on an item not related to an agenda item. We ask that you go to the podium. You're limited to 5 minutes. And we'd like you to take your name and address. Anyone interested?
Hi, I am Sandy Pritchard, 526 East Lincoln Street. Last meeting, I asked the question for clarification from the commission regarding any design for the marina that involved the fixed attenuators, A3 and 4, as to whether or not the intent was to have broadside mooring. And I haven't received an answer to that. And it does show up in the financials for the $1.6 million bond that there is 979 feet of broadside mooring. So that remains, I'll say, there have been mixed responses to that. Some are under the impression that, or were answered that, the postal question, Mr. Kane, he said no. Previously, when the bar was in place, she said yes, and then she said no. So I would still like clarification of that. Avon Marsh, the two commissioners, Needhammer and Nemetchek, were to participate in the process for the one design, including the virtual meetings. And a question that I had is have any, or have those meetings been held? And when they were and who participated in it? Related to the previous comment, again, on the design parameters that they may have been given. Was it to have fixed attenuators or floating attenuators? When the commissioners submitted their personal perceptions of what the existing footprint was they all drew lines off of the TDOC. And the TDOC stands alone. It was part of the full expansion design, and I guess it's the position of we the people that you draw a line around the existing floating attenuators, timber attenuators, and come back in, and that is the existing footprint. We are skeptical that the length of any fixed attenuators are necessary to protect the docks. I'd like to point to a statement, I believe it was by Evan Marsh, and I believe it was in a master plan, and I believe it to be either 2005 or 2006, in which they said the recommended plans and cost estimates. Unfortunately, the small bay fronting Veterans Memorial Park and the existing marina is too small to allow the city to expand the marina to the optimum number of slips without completely sheltering the bay with permanent breakwaters and filling the bay with boat slips. This is the essence of our objection by we the people of Boyne. I'd also like to refer to their wave study of 2006. And it says, under the worst case conditions, the floating attenuator evidence results similar to the existing conditions with the current floating attenuators. For example, at 0.4, the current configurations demonstrates a 0.9 foot wave, same as the new floating option with due west conditions. Only if the current level of wave suppression under worst case conditions is considered acceptable should the new floating wave attenuator option be considered. It is noted that the worst case condition would occur approximately 2% of the time, or rarely during the boating season. For incident wave periods of 1 to 3 seconds or less, which would be the norm during the boating season, it is expected that the floating wave attenuator would provide adequate protection. If this option is selected, the two docks extending from the shore on either side of 0.4 might be shortened, fewer slips, to bring them in within a more protected area. I guess that data that our preferred engineering firm has provided us for over 6 years, more like 16 years, that the bays would be consumed and that floating wave attenuator could be considered, and that is the preference of we the people of Boyne. I noticed that they've been pulled in for the winter, and I believe that is the normal practice. So we are strongly encouraging the final design to include similar floating timber attenuators as they have worked in the past. I still believe it would allow to flip dock E and still have protection with disturbing the least amount of lake bottoms and leave navigable waters in the bay for public enjoyment in the public trust. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll reserve some time after the meeting. I can get your answers to every one of your questions that you have.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Peter, 415 High Street. Excuse me. High Street butts into Lincoln Street. I just want to thank the city and the commission for approval of that. The reconstruction of Lincoln Street looks awesome. The construction company did a very excellent job of keeping the intersections open as much as possible. There's also no more flooding, which we would have seen in the last couple of days with all this rain. So as a citizen of Boyne City and a frequent user of Lincoln Street, excellent job. Thank you.
Anyone else? Move along. Correspondence. I have nothing to do. And we want to city manager report, Mike.
Yesterday, we held the initial meeting with Gavin Marsh under the Marina Revised Concept Proposal as was approved at the last city commission meeting. Working with the input from that meeting, Gavin Marsh is planning on returning with an initial concept and estimate for further review in mid-October. Due to the recent weather delays, flotation docking system now anticipates being in the city next week to inspect our floating docks. The pouring of the concrete for the splash pad in Peninsula Beach Park has also been delayed because of the recent rains. We were notified by the state late last week that it appears that we will be receiving a drinking water asset management grant that we applied for in late 2020 in the amount of about $505,500. That grant will help us document the water system assets that are in the ground and also information regarding the possibility of lead service leads, which we don't seem to have very many of, being in the system. There should be no local match required for this grant, and we're working with the state on the necessary details to move forward with this grant and project. We'll keep the commission apprised as we learn more. We've also received preliminary notification that we were successful in obtaining a DTE tree planting grant. We are still gathering details about that award and we'll keep you posted. They've indicated that they're recommending that tree planting under that grant program take place in the spring rather than try and get it done yet this fall. We also applied for another tree planting grant from the state at the end of last week. The installation for our new interfaces for the monitors in here has been delayed due to an emergency situation that our IT contractor had with one of his other clients, who have kept him focused on that. We'll get it rescheduled as soon as possible and look forward to having that coming. I should mention as well too that it was brought up at our last city commission meeting, talking about just virtual meeting materials, that somebody wasn't able to connect to our meeting, and we did find out that the agenda at that time had the wrong contact information on that. We apologize for that mistake, and we have it corrected going forward at this point. The materials were recorded and they are available online if people do want to look at it. We continue to anticipate that the first reading on the short-term rentals ordinance will take place at our October 11th meeting. That is a 7:00 p.m. meeting here in the commission chambers. We've been advised that Consumers Energy has begun installing the electrical system, and DTE is scheduled to begin their work on the natural gas system on October 7th for the Fox Run manufactured housing development off of Jefferson Street. So that project continues to move forward. And we had a couple of recognition of significant milestones and anniversaries. I'd like to add one more if I may. Today happens to be, according to my records, the 23rd anniversary of Kevin Spates joining the team of the city of Boyne City. So congratulations. So if you have any questions on these or other items, I'd be glad to try and address them.
Do you have an update on the water superintendent position?
We're still having great difficulty in securing somebody for that position. We're looking at alternatives with regards to that. There's a lot there. We're finding, much like other employment positions, police and some other high skilled positions, that there's a real shortage of those in the state of Michigan. We may need to go to some type of an interim step where we have to contract with the firm to provide those services. At this time, the water wastewater team is keeping things up, fully operational, but we're not having much luck on that position at this point.
Does the state have, don't they have certain licensing requirements?
Correct.
For that role?
Correct. And we've been able, and I've talked to other communities such as Sault Ste. Marie, that it took them about a year to find somebody for that position, about interim steps to go through in the meantime. Okay. So we're getting our reporting in as we can.
Okay. So
Like, the only question I had was, grant the 505,000, 2020, was there a reason why there was such a delay?
Yes, I think the state had basically budgeted a certain amount of money for that. And they had 4 rounds of grants and they prioritized them based on when they came in and the type of infrastructure concerns they had in the community. We were kind of in the mid scope, but we were just outside the funding that was available. The state has put more money into the process now, so they're bringing more communities that were on that had applied at that time into it. They are not accepting, based on the information I've received today, they are not accepting new applications. They're just trying to go through the backlog of people that applied in 2020 or shortly thereafter to it. I think we applied before the first round. They had like 4 draws for grants for that project, and we weren't successful in any of those first 4. Welcome.
Yeah. Okay, moving on, we have report to officers, boards, and payments committees. And one item we have is the financial report of all 2023. Are there any questions? On the financial report? Good. Moving on to new business, item 10A, we have the Boyne area skate park, state raffle license. Support from the city commission. Consider the recommendation from Boyne area skate park to request for support and their efforts to obtain state raffle permit and authorize staff to take the appropriate steps necessary to support their efforts, such as signing necessary people.
Yeah, I put together the memo on that, so I'll start off. In June of this year, a group calling itself the Boyne Area Skate Park filed articles of incorporation that were approved by the state of Michigan as a nonprofit organization. For the past several months, this group has been working with our Park and Recreation Board on the possibility of creating a new skate park in the city. There was one in Avalanche some time ago, and there have been several efforts over the years to possibly recreate a skate park. They are looking to develop a new skate park in cooperation with us in the city, somewhat similar to how the Veterans Memorial, Dog Park, Heritage Center, and Splash Pad and numerous off-road trails have been developed with city approvals on city property using funds that they mainly raise themselves. As part of their fundraising, they are considering holding a raffle. Raffles such as one they're considering are licensed by the state of Michigan and require a license. For new groups to get the license, they need the support of entities like the city to basically vouch for them and tell the state that they seem okay. This type of support that the Boyne Area Skate Park is looking for, that's the type of support that they're looking for today. We've done this on several occasions over the past with new groups that have come forward and have never had a problem with regards to it. Everything that I've seen and the interactions we've had with the park board and learned about this group have been very positive and seem worthy of our support. I've been working with the group's agent on this issue, Alicia Packamuma, and she's been a resident for in Boyne City since about 2005, and expected to be here at today's meeting. She advised me that they don't have a specific date for the raffle currently in mind, as they still need to submit the application for this to the state for approval. Their plan is to possibly incorporate it into a silent auction in the spring, but by having the approval ahead of time, it allows them to incorporate the raffle into any of their future fundraising events. As she stated, they're just trying to plan that. Over the years, as I mentioned, there have been many discussions about recreating a skate park in our community. The Boyne area community center effort started out as such an effort. This new group seems to be very well organized and involving at this point their end users right from the very beginning, and hopefully they have a good chance of success. Their ability to get a raffle license to help fundraise would definitely help them and improve their odds. So it's our recommendation, as the mayor reported, that the city commission approve the request of the Boyne Area Skate Park for support in their efforts to obtain a state raffle permit and authorize staff to take the appropriate steps necessary. You're welcome.
Alicia, would you like to continue?
Not sure what else to add to that because I feel like Mike did a really good job summarizing, but I guess I thought I would offer any questions that anybody has because of the new project.
Okay, well, maybe you can stay right there and we'll go into the audience. Are there any questions or comments regarding the state court? State court?
Lisa, I think it's awesome that you guys are picking this up. I think it's really, really important for the youth of our community and some pollsters who are state ordered. I noticed that the memo refers to city-owned property. I know it complicates things if you perhaps go beyond that. But the personal thought, I look at the middle school property where the early fives program is and so on and so forth. And to me, I don't know if that's an option that you've looked at, but it's an ideal location because it's central to the city, it's easy to keep an eye on, you can have hours. And it might be just a matter of the people that are parking in the paved area to move to the side streets. And to me, it's just an ideal location, but I realize the city doesn't own it. So I didn't know if you guys have been pursued that at all with the ISD.
Yeah, not with the IIC, we did talk with the superintendent, but it wasn't me that spoke with him, so I don't know the exact conversation. I do know that there was a location near us that was being considered, and we haven't finalized anything with the customer department, so, but we are offering suggestions so that we can present every option. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? Commissioners, any questions for Alicia?
I don't have any questions. I spoke with you earlier at one of the meetings downtown, and I'd just like to say thank you. It's people like you that really help mold Boyne City into the community that it is. Bringing this asset to the community potentially is, I think, a great benefit for the community. So thank you for the work, the hours, and organizing the effort. Appreciate it.
I know, just a couple questions.
Yeah.
What happened to the old work? I mean, I really.
My understanding is it was very temporary structures and they don't hold up very well after a certain amount of time, but I also remember reading that the location, there was an issue with the location and then, you know, I haven't heard of that initiative, so I do remember it being in that area temporarily.
To me, George?
Yeah.
It was gone before I arrived here. My understanding kind of follows along with that. I also, it was avalanche. I heard that it was very remote and that there may have been some vandalism that was associated with it at that time as well too. I know that's one of the visibility of it is something that they're looking at with regards to a possible future location as well. And as long as I'm speaking just for a second, I should mention, if they did happen to pick a site that was not city property, it wouldn't really interfere with what we're considering here at all. It's not a prerequisite for their grant or their license request.
Do you have any spots? I've also part of the process.
Well, we've talked about this location right in the building or behind the station. We've talked about Rotary as an option. And then there was a lot over near the school, and I don't even know if the city owns that, so the sidewalk kind of continues from Brockway, from the back parking lot where the bus garage is. We kind of looked at that area, but I don't know who owns that property. I think it got shut down because the visibility isn't very good enough.
As far as like, future, if the stuff gets built up and running, as far as future maintenance costs, things that there plans in place to keep the place up, so it's.
Yeah, so we developed a 501c3 so that there's a board overseeing the whole project and it will continue. So there's terms that will serve, and then yeah, our hopes is that with a setup like that, the people who are most passionate about keeping it going will be the ones helping to continue the efforts on the board and with fundraisers. That's kind of our plan right now between fundraisers and grants. And what we're hoping is that each spring and fall will do a kind of an opening of the season, end of the season kind of family day, so that we can incorporate the community and make sure that everybody knows this is still here. Please visit and please continue support.
Yeah. Hey,
answer your question about the previous skate park, it was up to Avalanche, most of the things were made out of plywood. And they would put them where the skate rink is during the summertime, and they take them down and move them. So the things they had up there weren't well built, they weren't well maintained, that's why. Thank you, yeah, that's right.
Personally, I think that could point out problem with some things you have, a volunteer group has the energy and be in built with. And then that group of parents will live in town and the city needs to maybe take or to be responsible for making things rather than all doing issue that we have to see some in places. Anyway, any other questions?
Are you going to go through word and word?
Okay.
Do you want norms?
Okay, Jim, you want to start with the discussion on this?
I support it 100%. This is just supporting them in their endeavor and trying to secure funds for this project. So I support it completely.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that the kids outside, off the Xbox, other than moms. Doing something athletic and fun, I think it's a great thing for kids to go outside to do. I mean, obviously concerns are vandalism and being too adult, it's, not a livable regular drug police and the citizens, so. I obviously would encourage that more open, like Sandy's recommendation is regular, place like that, it's really highly visible. It's great, but get kids outside doing stuff. It's gonna cost, I don't know, they can maintain it.
Yes, I'm in full support, appreciate the efforts, moving forward, I was around in the last group. Got things going, but, if I have long-term sustainability, as everybody has said, great for the kids' activities, I know it's Jordan, Oshie, Harbor Springs, it's all Harvard on Saturday, all have active, robust skating parks, and, my thought would be, at a splash pad, you could have beach volleyball, splash pad, skate park, beach, bathrooms, all you're missing is some basketball hoops over on the pavement, in the parking lot. But that's up to Parks and Rec. I'm sure they'll make the right decision, and let's move forward. More than much as we can.
Yeah, I'm in full support, and I appreciate all the work you're making, and look forward to the future of the kind of developments.
If the park board does make a recommendation for it to go on city property, that recommendation would come back for the city commission's review with consideration.
Will their recommendation come with placement?
Potentially, correct.
Okay, there's no further discussion. I can take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation from, to approve the request for support in their effort to obtain a state raffle permit and authorize staff to take the appropriate steps necessary to support this effort, such as signing necessary paper.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second, Jessica, roll call, please.
Nemchek.
Aye.
Conklin.
Aye.
Cameron.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Carried.
Thank you. Moving on, we have the purchase of a replacement 15 horsepower outboard motor. Consider the recommendation from DPW Director Michael May to approve the purchase order contract for one Mercury 15 horsepower motor from Tower Equipment. The rack in the amount not to exceed $2,811. And the city manager be authorized to execute the necessary documents. Mike?
Yeah, the memo I have for this is, for the past 5 or so years, the public works staff has been using an in-house built time to remove and install dock sections at City Marina. This replaced contracting out for private boat supporters to do that same task. While this piece of equipment that we have fashion is rather crude. It is effective for the semi-annual move and its purpose. However, the outboard motor that we had for that will reach the end of its functional life and will not run on us anymore than what it is worth. After many calls to local regions, no one had any news or suitable motors in stock. We also reviewed sites like Craigslist for about a month without any luck. And Indian River Marina supplied a quote for a Suzuki 15 horse. The type needed at $3,298, but it has 6-8 month lead time on it. We also received a quote from Power Equipment Direct with 15 horse Mercury. With the option we need for $28,1099 and it's in stock and the delivery for about weeks. This would be funding out of miscellaneous funds that are available in the motor pool fund. It is our recommendation that the city commission approve a purchase order contract for one Mercury 15 horse swing shaft from Power Equipment Direct in the amount not to exceed $28,1099. And that the city manager be authorized to execute the necessary documents.
Any questions or comments?
But totally see the need for it, and I like your looking at Craigslist and other places like that first. I like the outside the box thing, people with money and see that, I apply that. I'm in full support.
Like, just curious, do you know the expense savings, with doing it in-house versus contracting it out anymore?
No, it was really, from my perspective, a no-brainer to try to do anything else on because, you know, the equipment that we've got is something that we only use twice a year. Our investment in that pond, you can see up there on the screen is very little. And, you know, have like a golden dot coming in, that's I can only imagine the price of the motor the first year.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm full support as well. The only hesitation I have is avoiding timeline and that's supported. It's important. I think for us to support local business. So, with that, I entertain a motion on the purchase of this.
I'll make a recommendation, I'll make a motion to approve DPW Director Michael Lemay, to purchase work order contract for one Mercury 15 horsepower, 20-inch shaft from Power Equipment Direct in the amount not to exceed $2,810.99. That the city manager be authorized to execute the necessary documents.
Is there a second? Jessica, roll call please.
Conklin.
Aye.
Cameron.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the purchase for replacement of the 2012 John Deere loader. Right?
Currently we have year 2012 John Deere motor model 5.4K. This piece of city equipment has $6,880 on it. It is on a 10-year location replacement program. It is needed daily for numerous purposes like gravel road management and grading, snow removal, road material loader, plus a compost yard management. And it's the biggest tool we have in our arsenal of emergency response vehicles. From my perspective, this is the most critical piece of equipment that we has in management operation world. AIS Construction Company of Traverse City has submitted a quote for a new John Deere loader, model number 524P, same basic model. Conservatively optioned like the 2012 unit at a final price of $144,647.38. That includes a state discount in the trade bar 2012 John Deere loader. We have budgeted for year 2022 and 23 fiscal year $137,957 for the replacement loader, with the caveat that there's also been $143,263 budgeted for replacement. Event trackless tractor with cab, lower deck, snowblade. This need is no longer needed. We put approximately $30,000 into this unit, a year and a half ago. And we can pull that off our need for this year. So, the additional cost, will not be that big, for the year. It is our recommendation that City Commission approve a purchase of a purchase order for one John Deere loader model 5.4 from AIS Construction Equipment Traverse City for attached bid numbers 6020. Further, I would recommend that the city manager be authorized to execute.
Any questions or comments from the audience?
What warranty comes with it? If any?
It has a 1-year warranty, but we opted to include a 4,000 hour warranty at an extra price.
And then the service rates are predetermined?
Pardon
Any
me?
service rates outside of the warranty items are those also set with this supplier?
I do not have the information.
Anyone else? Mike, could you explain a little bit about the mine deal, over $100,000 savings, how that works?
Yes, the state basically goes out and uses their bidding power to bid not only items that they would need, but that many municipalities, other units of government like road commissions and things of that nature could use. And the state enters into a contract, and then after bidding it out and putting together their specifications, enters into a contract with companies such as AIS, where they can make their bids available to other entities across the state of Michigan. So it frees us from having to go out and bid that ourselves, but then being able to leverage, as you mentioned, the savings that we get from the state purchasing on this and many other items as well too. We use that, you may recall that discussion came up with regards to the police vehicle acquisitions as well too, that we use that as a benchmark when we're talking to local leaders as well. So it's a real tool to help us piggyback on the state's bidding efforts in an effort to save money.
Sure, full support. I appreciate that you mentioned that this is I would just say it's the biggest tool we have in our arsenal for emergency response people. Almost critical piece of equipment in the DPW as the road management. That being said, we'll support
Mike, what's gonna happen with the old equipment? Is the city gonna maintain that or look to go and sell that through a bidding process?
That price included $65,000 on trade.
Mhm.
So 10 years ago, we paid $100,000 for the unit. And if you kind of do the math, it costs you $3,500 a year to use. So when you think about the value of that piece of equipment, the residual value at the end of 10 years, that's pretty impressive for what it does for the city. And it's really inexpensive to have. Now, the new one being priced as it is, it's hard to tell what the residual will be in 10 years from now. But I think for the past 10 years, using that order the way we have, and looking at the annual cost, besides fuel and other things that are, you have a team do. It's been really economical.
Great, thank you.
Pretty good, Jim?
Yeah, it's a $65,000 credit that we're getting. Gonna go.
Okay, yeah, I will support the recommendation from DPW to purchase, so I entertain motion.
You know what, I just found the answer to my question, sorry. I did that for a bucket. And I see this. Right, they come to the bucket.
We have a bucket that we use, the one that we have is fine.
So all these folks, I see that, 2.75 year for 9,300. So that. Is that not needed or not included in this price?
I gotta check, George, I'm pretty sure that we were not gonna order the bucket.
Never know, either 9,001 that.
$9,358 is in the quote.
And both is part of it. I just did review it.
Oh, thank you. Oh, sorry.
All right, I entertain a motion. John, you're voting.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation from DPW Director Michael May to approve purchase order contract for one John Deere loader model number 524P from AIS Construction for the entire city. As presented and authorized the city manager to execute the necessary documents.
Mine's here.
Based on the conversation we just had, if Mike confirms that we don't need that bucket, we would we would have that removed from the purchase and price.
Okay, let's go roll call, please.
Cameron.
Aye.
Lassiter.
Aye.
Nemetek.
Aye.
Conklin.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Moving on, we have Lincoln Main Street Downtown Development Authority Board, mayoral appointment. And I'll take the lead on this. With the recent retirement of long-term board member Michelle Corcoran, a founding member of the EDA in 1994, but currently open in the Lincoln Main Street Downtown Development Authority Board. To fill the vacancy, I would like to appoint Sarah Neal for the city commission's consideration. Sarah has been a Boyne City resident for 12 years and is the manager of Cafe Sante. With her years of experience in management and food and beverage industry, Sarah will bring important perspective to the Main Street EDA board. Attached as part of the memo is the city of Boyne application Sarah completed, along with the Main Street EDA candidate questions I asked her to answer. It's my recommendation to the city commission to approve the appointment of Sarah to the Boyne City Main Street EDA board for a term expiring January 2025. Any Sarah is here? Is there anything you'd like to say, Sarah?
No, just very excited to be part of it.
Any comment from the audience?
Excellent choice.
All right, Tim, do you want to start the commission discussion?
Yeah, I'm just curious, how many applicants applied for the board?
The Main Street, two.
Okay. And the questionnaire is something that you can look
Yeah, I don't feel necessarily the city's application really need to ask enough questions, and I kind of be consistent with the questions that I.
Yeah, I like the information, that's on the questionnaire. I just hope that it's something that we do consistently. Just so some people aren't upset that they weren't faced with that questionnaire. Or others weren't what they were, but I do like it. But no, I don't have any other questions.
You and me recommended to George and you and G. I've known Sarah for a long time. She's contributed to our community many times over, and she's a great asset to our community. We'll be great with her. And she's working.
Well, I entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Sarah Neal to the Boyne City Main Street board.
I'll make the motion to approve Mayor Hugh Conklin's appointment of Sarah Out of most of them, and you don't. You need approval, to the Boyne City Main Street EDA Board for a term expiring January 2025.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Jessica, roll call please.
Lassiter.
Aye.
Nemecheck.
Aye.
Aye.
Decameron.
Aye.
Great, thank you, Sarah. Moving on, we have a grant request for a picnic pavilion at Peninsula Beach.
I'm going to start, but we do have a representative from Rotary here, Kathy Anderson. Earlier this year, the City Commission approved the request from the Rotary Club to build a picnic pavilion at Peninsula Beach. This initiative was chosen to be the celebratory project to commemorate Rotary Club's 100th anniversary. The approximate cost of the initiative is $25,000. Rotary Club intends to fund approximately $20,000 of the cost and is requesting grant monies totaling $5,000 from the Charlevoix County Community Foundation. The Rotary Club is not classified as a 501c3 and therefore cannot officially submit for grant funds on its own. Commission approval is being requested by the Rotary Club to allow the City of Boyne City to submit on behalf of them for a $5,000 grant request to the Charlevoix County Community Foundation. The grant application window for this request closes very quickly at midnight on October 1st. If approved, the grant request would be submitted by the city before that deadline. The recommendation is to approve the City of Boyne City's that we collaborate with them and with the Rotary Club and submit a grant request as requested for the $5,000.
Well, so that we've been working for a little over a year with the city and the first with the Parks and Rec Department for a location, and we found an agreement on a spot. We have done some preliminary excavation. We were able to piggyback with the splash pad while their excavators were there. We did some basic leveling. We have been delayed by getting our design stamped by a registered engineer. That's just taking months. I really don't know why, but we're close. So we probably will not build this season yet. Concrete probably won't. We wanted to put concrete, but we probably won't now. But we should be able to complete it this spring, early summer. We look forward to contributing to Peninsula Beach. And it's going to be great that the splash pad is still there. This picnic pavilion will provide cover for families in groups from sun or rain, depending on what their need is. And we look forward to, having a presence on that side of town, like we do at Rotary Park on the north side of town. I've started the application. Don was kind enough to get it going right away as a native collaborator. I'm about 70% through the application and feel like there will be no problem getting it completed in time. So we appreciate the opportunity. We had discussed becoming a 501(c)(3), but for 100 years we've worked without it. We thought we could kind of just continue on this way. So.
And Kathy, you're the president of the board.
I am president.
All right, anyone with questions or comments regarding the agreement? What are the dimensions of the campus?
About 20 by 20.
Anyone else?
Yeah, would this be like available for weddings, parties?
Well, this pavilion will belong to the city of the city after we construct it. So whatever their policy for Peninsula Beach is, I don't know that they have a policy for use of that park. It will not have anybody lock it. It's just a simple roof structure. It's got a concrete base, so it's not gonna be nearly as elaborate as a beautiful pavilion here. But yeah, I think we assume to be first come, first served.
And I mean, when I comment on the memo here, it's starting requires 2023 Housekeeping.
Yep, it is this year. We have
Yeah.
a shorter deadline. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate Kathy Peninsula Beach is now becoming a destination with, every year the beach gets a little bit better. We have bathroom, parking, splash pad, now we have a pavilion. And who knows what the future holds, but this is a great spot. In our community. You guys built the bathrooms and concession stands of the Rotary Park, and that is used all the time. And, yeah, so it's great to see service groups working in cooperation with the city to make Boyne City a cool spot. Thanks.
I don't have any questions. I'd just like to say thank you to you and other Rotarians in your group. For taking the time, the energy and pursuing this and helping improve our community. It's going to be another asset for our community members. So thank you.
Yeah, I fully support this. Mike, you can reserve things that we can't.
Yes, we do have groups that do reserve it. With regards to this specific pavilion, that hasn't been discussed by the park board, if they'll have it first come, first serve, or will allow reservations there, but we have had groups for weddings or group functions that have reserved the park.
Okay, I entertain motion, for the beach.
I'll make the motion to approve the grant request for the pavilion at Peninsula Beach. And we're going to collaborate with and submit a grant request to C3F for 5,000 on behalf of Boyne City Rotary Club.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Yes, go roll call, please.
Madam Chair.
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting Cameron.
Aye.
Laughter.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Moving on, we have good in the order. Answers in the order.
Just this discussion reminds me of, if you want to know where our community members are, any weeknight, well, to Rotary Park, there's 300 to 400 families up there from 5-year-olds to 12-year-olds playing soccer with all the parents and grandparents and it's very truly what Boyne City is all about. And there's 12 soccer games going on once, and you can also hear the pickleball courts being used. And bathrooms are open. Community is using one of our parks. I just love keeping the concept that we keep improving. We improve Pete, thanks to Pete, in the parks. We improve the lookout at Avalanche. It's great that we are not stopping progress and keep doing everything for our residents. And yes.
I didn't change motion then, or excuse me. Under announcement, next regular city commission meeting is scheduled for October 11th, 2022 at 7 p.m. With that, I can make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second. Right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thanks everyone.